Hi, obviously I'm not an artist, and this log I'm going to be displaying and discussing issue 7 of Hachette's Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Issue 7 comes with several Tyranid infantry bioforms known as Termagants, and also a Ripper Swarm. These are push-fit minis that originally came in 10th edition box set Leviathan. The Termagants are a light shooting and objective capturing unit for the Xenos, and the Ripper Swarm is, well, they're just a pest, a nuisance unit if you will. The Termagant is a scuttling creature that can wield several different types of bioweapons, mostly ranged, and the Ripper Swarm is several small bitey monsters stacked next to each other. They have both been a feature in the Tyranid army since the beginning. Here are some polymer Termagants from 2nd edition. Prior to this they were made from metal. Here is an image of some Ripper Swarms from editions past. In the lore, the Termagant is agile, fast and cunning, referred to by Astro Militari troops as Hunter Slayers. Its powerful body is low to the ground as to develop speed and move through the narrow arterial passages and hive ships. Like many Tyranids, it has 6 limbs and a chitinous outer shell. Termagants can be armed with either Flesh Borer, Spike Rifle, Strangleweb, Devourer, or a pair of Spine Fists. Well, if you buy the multi-part box rather than the push-fit version that comes in this issue. Regardless, let's investigate the weapons anyway. Flesh Borer is a compact brood nest in which borer beetles lay their eggs. Once mature, they can be fired. If the beetle successfully hits its target, it frenziedly bores through armor, flesh and bone. The Spike Rifle is made up of a bony muscle-lined tube which contains a row of spikes that it grows and then fires. The spikes are barbed harpoons that hit with a great deal of force and punch through armor more easier than the Flesh Borer borer beetles. The Strangleweb is a weird spider-like composite creature that fires a mass of mucus-like strands that wraps tightly around the target, immobilizing it. If the victim struggles, it has the capacity to be strangled or crushed. The Devourer is a horrific weapon, resembling a conical lump of rotten flesh which houses worm-like organisms. When the Devourer is fired, the worms either shatter against the target, spraying acidic bile and poison over it, or pierce it and start burrowing inside the victim's body towards its brain and devour it. And the Spine Fists are symbiote weapons creatures used for close quarters fighting. Its carapace is formed into a roll of diamond-hard spines coated with a lethal toxin that can be launched as a deadly salvo in a broad pattern. Let's discuss the issue while the models take a spin. The issue opens with the how to build instructions. What I didn't mention earlier is in this issue you are only given 2 sprues and no bases, which means you can only partially build 7 Termagants and a Ripper Swarm. Therefore, for this video to work, I have incorporated the remaining sprue and the bases from issue 8. Next, there is a spotlight on the Angels of Death, which is another name for Space Marines, stating that due to their elite status in the Imperium, they are revered as godlike beings amongst the general populace. Over page, further information links the Space Marines to their lightning strike combat tactics, and that they will work in concert with other Imperial forces, such as the human and abhuman troops of the Astra Militarum, or formerly the Imperial Guard. The Scutari legions to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Engineers of Mars, and the Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle. Moving on to the Hive Mind. The Hive Mind is the Tyranid's ability to think and act as if the Force have one shared brain. While this means they can function faster than any ordinary army, this can be exploited by taking out the more mentally developed and leader-like bioorganisms. If this occurs, it leaves the lesser bug without guidance and uncoordinated in their approach to continuum warfare. However, these leader creatures are often the deadliest in a Tyranid force. The following page reinforces the previous info and showcases more additional units in the Tyranid range, including some seriously monstrous monsters not appearing in forthcoming issues. The previously mentioned leader Tyranids can be classified as synapses organisms, and there's some awesome artwork of a hive tyrant here, an alien dreadnought in appearance with destructive output, and a strategic intelligence of a century-served military commander. Over page, further monstrosities are displayed, including the super psychic Nero Tyrant, terrifying and living battle tank and transport bug, the Tervagon, and the elite troops capable of matching Space Marines in both shooting and melee combat, the Tyranid Warriors. Story time with a 2-pager on a ultramarine defense of an agri-world, as Captain Fabian, sensing his force close to defeat, asks for guidance from his battle brothers, to which a veteran Marine suggests to take out the biggest synapses creature and therefore severing the link to the hive mind to the never-ending swarm of Tyranids. The captain achieved this with the combined bolt of fire from himself and all the remaining Ultramarines, breaking down its psychic shields and chitin armour, then charging in with a finishing melee blow from the butt of his rifle. This indeed does remove the focus and link to the hive mind from the lesser bioforms, as the heroes of the 13th rally and counterattack to what assumedly becomes a Space Marine victory, for Macragge, for Guilliman, for the Emperor, etc, etc. There is then guidance on movement and measurement, which is the usual middle finger to the metric system, and is also a little confusing now since base sizes are in millimeters, yet measuring is still in inches. Unit coherency is touched upon, stating that models need to be within 2 inches of any adjacent models in its unit. Then some further info on weapon and threat ranges before finishing up investigating Scenario 3, Waking the Swarm, a mission that has movement and shooting between the Infernus Marines and the Bobgons. Anyway, the models from issue 7 are complete. In the next issue, I will not be painting the scuttled infantry creatures known as termagants, as I've just done it. Stick with me though, I'll find something else to do in its place. Please like, comment and subscribe as I continue to chronicle the collecting, construction and creating.